Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where, as you can tell from how this video is beginning, we're going to be talking about the Wizard of Oz. But as I am Cosmic Crow Tarot, it's going to be about tarot cards too. What you see here is this beautiful snow globe that my niece gave me when she was very young. It was hers and she wanted to give it to me for my birthday because we actually share the same birthday. We're both born on December 19th, exactly 20 years apart. And she and I both, this is our favorite movie of all time. Personally, my favorite character is the Wicked Witch of the West, which is the card, see, always on the mind of tarot, which is the character that scared her the most. But come on, if we're being realistic here, if someone dropped a house on your sibling, you'd hate them too and want revenge, right? I mean, that makes sense. But when we think of the Wizard of Oz, we think of this right here, the four characters. We have the Scarecrow right here, the Tin Woodsman right here, we have Dorothy in the middle, and the lion that she meets along the way as well, and they're all off to see the wizard. But did you know that's only the first book? Like the rest, there's actually 14 books in the whole Wizard of Oz series written by L. Frank Baum, beginning in I can't talk. Beginning in 1900. So at the turn of the century, that's when this was created. And the book, or the movie that we all know, is just the first book. So today we're going to be talking about that, and I'm going to be sharing a really awesome tarot deck with you. So let's get to it, shall we? What you see here is the Shadow of Oz tarot, created by Illogical Associates. My husband got it for me for my birthday a couple years ago. Yeah, I get a lot of tarot stuff and Wizard of Oz stuff for my birthday because it's something that I've loved my entire life. Wizard of Oz, not necessarily tarot. I just got into that, we're at 5 years now. So this deck was definitely one that I really wanted. I always wanted, as soon as I began tarot, a Wizard of Oz tarot deck. And I believe there's a few of them out there other than just this one. And if you know about them or you have them, let me know in the comments, because if they're still available, they will totally go on my wish list. You know, if you want to send me one because you know how much I love it, that's cool too, and I'll do like an unboxing video. But we're not here to talk about that, really. We're here to share this deck. Now you can tell there's a little dent on the box, and I believe it came like that. This is an Etsy deck, so, you know, it's created by regular people, so nothing's perfect sometimes. The cards themselves are absolutely perfect, though, and that's what really matters. Before we get to the cards, though, I will do one little complaint about the, I'm gonna drop them there. They're very, very smooth, so kind of hard, but there we have them right there. We'll set them aside. The guidebook itself, it is detailed, but it falls apart. Like the binding in the back, as soon as you open it, like the cards want to fall out. You can see there. They do, I mean, if you're careful, it doesn't really matter, and you can still use it. It's very informative. I mean, it's not one of the most descriptive in the world, but if you know the 14 books of the Wizard of Oz, you'll have no problem with this deck. And it's very intuitive, I feel, too, as well. Like, it kind of goes with, like, the Rider-Waite-Smith a little bit. More Marseille than Rider-Waite, because Strength and Justice are switched in this deck. But we'll get to that when we get there. And we'll go through the deck, starting with the Fool, and we'll talk about each card. We all know this character right here. This is Dorothy, as she makes her way down the yellow brick road with Toto right by her side. Now that is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. That's the movie we all know and love, made in 1939. But again, as I said, between, I believe it was 1900 was when the Wonderful Wizard of Oz was written. L. Frank Baum continued to write books up until his death for the Wizard of Oz. He's gotten hundreds of books out there. The Wizard of Oz is just a few of them. And there's 14 altogether from what I've read. And as they are over 100 years old, these are public domain now. So you can find the books themselves, like Kindle versions and stuff like that, for really cheap. When I went to make this video, I looked it up. And you can get the books on Kindle for 49 cents. I think it was 43 cents, actually. 43 cents to get the book. They don't have the illustrations in them, though. You can buy the actual books from Amazon too. I believe I looked it up last night. It was $8.99 for the first one, so I'd say less than $10 for each of them. But, you know, if you got all of them, it'd be around $140 because, you know, 14 of them. But you can notice, subtle differences between the movie and the book. Perfect example is Dorothy here. You can see right here that her shoes are silver. They are not red, so that's definitely changed for the movie. The original books definitely had Dorothy Gale as wearing silver shoes and not red. So that was just, I don't know personally exactly why they chose to do that, but I feel like it was more visible and made you like it more. That's my best guess. And we move from the Fool to the Magician. And I believe this particular magician is the Wizard of Oz himself. You know, the guy that Dorothy meets as the character with the fortune-telling booth in the kind of sepia, brown, black and white first part of the movie that takes off in the hot air balloon at the end, and he doesn't take her, and that's when she tries her shoes and says there's no place like home. So that's the character in the magician. So, you know, he kind of is the magician. And then the great and powerful Glinda. She's right there with her book of knowledge with the high priestess. And then you won't know this character unless you've read the books. So I will definitely continue to tell you to read the books. If you love the Wizard of Oz movie, you'll love the books. Like, they're so amazing. It's been a while since I read them, so I don't know all the characters, definitely. But I do know her. She's the rightful queen of Oz. This is Ozma. So after you meet the magician and that story's over, with, like, the wizard himself, she gets the throne. So that's part of the story as well. She's the rightful heir. She's Ozma herself. And then we all know this character as well as the Emperor, which is the Tin Woodsman. And you hear his story and how he became the Tin Woodsman as well, so that's really interesting. The Hierophant is one of the book characters as well. He's the intelligent ant, like he's got these special powers, and he's, you know, everybody in Oz has like special powers and stuff because it's a magical world. That's what I love about it. So he's like the teacher of everybody. And then we have the Lovers, which is 2 characters here. Now again, I don't remember exactly the story, but they're definitely part of the story in one of the books. So, worth reading, definitely connecting with this deck. Then we have the Chariot and Justice. See, there we have 7 and 8. That's why I said it relates to the Marseille Tarot more than the Rider-Waite-Smith, because it's 8 and 11 have switched places. But this character you meet in the Return to Oz. Now, they did make a movie of this in the 1980s. I remember watching that when I was little, and I was so excited because, I mean, I've known The Wizard of Oz my entire life. It's been my favorite movie of all time as far back as I can remember. And there's characters in the Wizard of Oz, like, Return to Oz movie from the 80s that have, like, hands and feet that are wheels. And those characters freaked me out so much. Like, I still think about it, and my skin crawls a little bit. I don't know what it is about it, but that always freaked me out. Now, in the book, that's actually really there. Like, there's really characters that chase Dorothy in the Return to Oz. And their hands and feet are both made of wheels, so they can get around really easily. After the 8 of Justice, we meet the 9 of the Hermit. You see the character there. Another character from The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in the books that follow. And the Wheel of Fortune. And then we have Strength. And that's Dorothy there, you know, comforting and holding the Cowardly Lion. You know, you've got to have strength to, you know, face lions or face your own inner lions and tigers within, you know. Strength to love who you are and really, truly appreciate the person you are. We have the Hangman, which is the Scarecrow. And Death. Now, this is an interesting illustration of Death because it kind of doesn't relate to that, but then if you look really closely at it, and you can see it there, this field is all alive, and this field looks very, very dead, so that does relate much to death. And then we have Temperance. And the Devil, which is a character I remember well from the books. Like, he imprisons this rich family and, like, has this magical belt that can give him anything he wants. We'll meet the belt again here soon. And we have the Tower, which is the tornado that took off with Dorothy's house, that took her to the land of Oz. And the Star. That's another character you will meet if you read the book. The Moon. Because, you know, every book, every story has its nemesis and its darkness. With the Wicked Witch of the West, you know, we know that character, that was Dorothy's nemesis. But as I said in the beginning, if someone dropped a house on your sister or your sibling, you'd likely want them dead too. So there's the Moon. And then we move to the Sun. Now, this is part of the second story, and man, I want to tell you about the story, but I also want you to read it for yourself, because me telling you, it's not good enough. But this character is very, very, very important in the story. You met the Empress, this card definitely connects to that, but you will have to read the books to find out exactly who this character is. And then we have Judgment. All the characters of Oz, everybody that you meet throughout the stories, they're all here celebrating one another. And the world, where Dorothy sits in the center of the yellow brick road. It seems to different colors there, with all the characters that have helped her get there. And then we move on to the suit of wands, being very handsy there, and I know I've had complaints in the past, like comments, that I've used my hands too much in this and I moved the cards, but here we have the Ace of Wands, and the 2. The character there is standing in front of the door saying, "Don't come into the Emerald City." And then we have the 3 of Wands, the 4, and yes, these characters are all in the Wizard of Oz books. Even these bears, they're there as well. And we have the 5, the 6, the card of celebrating and others celebrating our passions, the 7 of Wands. Cowardly Lion seems to be carrying his wand and he doesn't know exactly what to expect there. And the 8 of Wands, the 9, you can see the flying monkeys up there carrying the Cowardly Lion. And we have the 10 of Wands. This seems to be back in Kansas, where Uncle Henry is carrying all those wands and, trying to stay in control. Then we have the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the King of Wands. And we move from the wand suit to the cup suit. Now, I don't know exactly how these come in the box when you first get them. I put them all back in order before I started this video, so I have them set up like this. We have the Ace of Cups, the 2 of Cups, another character or another couple you will meet in the Wizard of Oz. They might be the same 2 characters of the lovers, but I don't think they are. And we have the 3 of Cups, the 4, beautiful little porcelain cat there, you'll get to meet her as well. We have the 5 of Cups, the 6, the 7 of Cups. Now this is another character you will meet if you watch the Return to Oz movie that was made in the 80s. Again, another character that freaked the crap out of me when I was little, because all those heads are all the heads that she can take her head off and replace them with. So definitely the card of choices. Which head do I want to attach to my own body today? We have the 8 of Cups, the 9 of Cups, which shows a very healthy and happy little munchkin that's enjoying all the fruits of his labor. And we have the 10 of Cups, which are all the munchkins from Munchkinland enjoying their time together, because they are family. The Page of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. Then we have the Queen of Cups, and the King of Cups. Now I have the sword suit set up next, with the Ace of Swords. Now this does very much look like the character we met with the Magician, so I'm going to assume this is the wizard himself as well. And the 2 of Swords, the 3 of Swords. Now you can see the axe there in the middle of everything of this. Now the story does make very much sense when it comes to the 3 of Swords and the heartbreaking betrayal for the 10 woodsmen. But again, I'm not going to tell you, you're going to have to read it. And we have the 4 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, the 6, the 7, the 8 of Swords, which is Ozma when she got kidnapped because she was powerful and magical, and the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords. You can see there you've got the flying monkeys again, and down here's the 10 woodsmen that they've dropped to beat his body up. The Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Queen, and the King of Swords. And last but certainly not least, I told you we'd see it again, that magical belt that can make all of your wishes come true. That is the Ace of Discs, or Pentacles as we know in other decks. And then we have the 2 of Discs, the 3 of Discs, the 4 of Discs, the 5, the 6 of Discs, the 7 of Discs, the 8, the 9, the 10 of Discs, and you can very much tell this is the Emerald City. I love this color green, it's so pretty. And then we had the Page of Discs, the Knight, you can see Toto there is the Knight of Pentacles or the Knight of Discs, the Queen of Discs, and the king. Here's what the backs look like. You can see there. It's the same on either side. It kind of has like the wheel there. And you can see like very, very great quality. They're very smooth, very shiny. Definitely an awesome deck. If you are a fan of The Wizard of Oz, I highly recommend this deck. I think it is awesome. But again, read the books. You don't know a lot of those characters. I mean, we all know the Dorothy, we all know Glinda, we know the Wizard, we know the characters that helped her, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodsman, the Cowardly Lion. We know Toto. We know all of that in the Wicked Witch of the West. And you notice there is actually no Wicked Witch of the West in this book, because that's just one piece of this giant picture that is the Wizard of Oz. And if you're a fan of reading and you're a fan of Wizard of Oz, then definitely you're missing out if you don't read those books. So that's why I wanted to share this deck with you today. Personally, I'm obsessed with that time period, about 1890 to 1915, that kind of era, 1920, where the Victorian era and like the Gilded Age and stuff like that. Like when life as we know it today kind of really came into existence, like this Victorian era with these houses and stuff like that, and this magical dream world, like that you see the houses around here, like that's when things really built up, like these Victorian era houses, and you can just see the beauty in it that I don't see so much in like architecture today. But I could go on and on about like the Wizard of Oz and just the time period of the 1900s and stuff, because I love it and I've been obsessed with it as far back as I can remember. But I'm here to show you tarot decks, and that's what we've done today, this awesome deck. I'll leave the link in the description below if I can find it for purchase again. I know it's available on Etsy, at least last time I checked. You can see there like the different suits have different colors. It's really cool. So pentacles are green, wands are red. You can see there, yeah. So you get the idea. But I'll leave a link in the description below where you can purchase it, and I'll even try to leave a link too where you can get the book. Again, it's extremely inexpensive. The whole series, you can get it for 43 cents. Or if you buy the books, like the hardcover books and stuff, those are a really cool keepsake to have as well. And you can get the illustrations, which the Kindle books, the one I read, doesn't have the illustrations, so it's not as good. But hey, if you got this deck, you have the illustrations, right? So highly recommend. It's an awesome deck. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want a reading with this deck or any deck in my collection, feel free to comment on this video, send me a message on any of my socials where I do daily readings every single day. As I put this one up, this video up, it's March 4th, it's a Saturday. The reading that I did for today actually was with this deck, so you can kind of see it in action. It's fantastic. But if you want a reading with this deck or any of the ones in my collection, feel free to message me on any of the socials, comment on this video, or book one directly from my website. Greatly appreciate you watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next one.